rising fish prices could make British staples like cod and haddock more expensive. Phil Vickery's proving that there's plenty more fish in the sea, don't you worry.
Oh, Mama, this is my sweet spot. He's travelled to Mevagissey Harbour, I think it is, in Cornwall this morning to cook us a Fish Friday feast. Good morning, Phil.
Morning, how you doing? Well, do you know what? When we started here, it wasn't windy. Look at it now. So I've had to be a bit careful, so I'm stood here because I don't want the gas to go out. But yes, you're absolutely right. I mean, Mevagissey, which is Cornwall's second biggest fishing harbour, and they've had a lot of fish here, and mackerel and whiting, which I love, pollock, which we're going to cook in a second, also lobsters and crabs throughout the year. 1 second, let me just turn it back on. Hang on, the gas, there you are, that's fine. So, the thing about all these fishes, they're absolutely delicious. Now, when I was a young chef, Pollock, which we're going to cook in a second, used to be called coley, and it was seen as an inferior fish. And it was things like cat food and that sort of stuff. It wasn't actually seen as a nice fish to eat. However, that's changed. And Pollock, as you've got here, a couple of different sizes, beautiful fish. Now, here's a great little stat here. Pollock is probably in a lot of your fillet fish burgers that you buy from various outlets, and also not in fish fingers. If it doesn't specify what they are, like cod or haddock, they're actually in there. So it's a nice tasting fish. Now I need to crack on here. Now, here's the pollock fillet, which I'm going to literally cut into small pieces. So I'm going to cut this so it cooks in real time. I left the skin on, so it stops it falling apart. It has a very similar texture to haddock and cod. It's a member of the cod family. And all you do is just cut these nice slices like this. Okay, and what I'm going to do is pop them into a little bit of seasoned flour, so like that, a little bit on there, a bit of salt, okay, not too much, a little bit of pepper on there as well. And in this pan here, I've got a bit of vegetable oil, which is nice and hot, and I'm going to pop these down into there. You'll see they're pretty much cooked straight away. Look at that, like so. And let me wipe my hands, and it'll cook probably in about 2 to 3 minutes. So we've only got 5 minutes left. So I want to make sure that does cook. So I'll pop that into the oil. And what I'm not going to do is overcook it. So I'll probably give it a minute, turn it over, give it another minute, and just leave it. And that residual heat will cook that fish right through. Now, bear in mind, fish protein coagulates around about 40 degrees. So once it's hit that temperature, it will actually carry on cooking. So don't overcook it to start with, if that makes sense. Now, in this pan here, I have some pancetta. I'll just show you here, Kev, there. So I've got pancetta, or back bacon, or streaky bacon, and a little bit of onion, which I've cooked as well. So what I've got there is the fat has come out of that bacon or pancetta, and I've put some potatoes in there as well, just to soak up that lovely flavour. To that, I'm going to add a few spinach leaves, which I'm just going to pop into here just to wilt down, like that. Now, obviously, you can use frozen spinach. It's really, really up to you. But I just want to get those into there, and we'll just get some heat back into them. My gas has gone out, into there like that. Now back over to the fish. You'll see that's cooking nicely. So I'll just pop this one over here. I'll just lift it over. You'll see there it is. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And as I've just said earlier, what you mustn't do, it's really important that you don't overcook it. Now, because I want to get this wilted down. Now, bear in mind also that the cod and haddock prices have gone up hugely, and they're probably going to double within the next 3 or 4 months. So it's vital that we look at other fish to use. Pollock's one of the fish. Another one is whiting that I used to use as a young chef as well. Small fish we used to cook around and deep fry. Don't worry, that's just all our kit blown away. It is a bit windy. But also things like mackerel. Mackerel are great fish. Salmon's another great fish. Small soles, slip soles, Dover soles, which can be slightly expensive. Megrin soles, another one. A brill rather than turbot. There's abundance of fish that we can actually use in the UK, and we don't necessarily have to use things like cod and haddock. Now, I've never really been a cod fan, if I'm being honest. I don't think it has much flavour. I'd sooner have haddock. So if I go to Scotland, for instance, when we're out and about, then they always fry haddock. They will never fry cod because it says it has no flavour. I tend to agree with them. Back over here, guys. So what I'm going to do is just put this spinach back into here. Then once that spinach is just starting to wilt, as you'll see, I just want to pop in, the gas is going out again, turn it back on again, and I just want to half sort of cook that spinach like that there. You'll see, it's starting to come together. Now, we can start plating up in a second. Let me get this here. So, let me just get rid of the fish, pop that there, and I'll bring the pan over, and I just want to show you this. So here's the fish. I'll just show you that, okay? I'm going to show you that there, look at that. It's got a nice shine to it still. If I just break that with a spoon, you'll see it just falls apart. Okay, now that's the reason why I've left the skin on. What I don't want it to do is to fall apart completely. And I'm going to layer the fish onto here. Again, you see, that's why I've left the skin on it so it doesn't fall apart completely. Then to that I'm going to add a few bit of potatoes, like that. Again, it's about layering. It's about layering flavours and texture. And the only tiny bit of oil I put into there was from to cook the fish. But also I've got the fat from the pancetta, and we'll just keep layering that up. You'll see you get a nice colour. The gas keeps going out. Let's put that one out on there. The last bit of fish here goes onto there, like so. And then finally, a little bit more of the spinach and the bacon and the onions. Now, fresh fish is fantastic. What you mustn't do either is, don't worry, if even frozen fish can be excellent quality and excellent value. Things like tuna fish out the freezer, beautiful. All these fish actually cook really well. Now, I know you've got that in the studio there. Have you had a taste, and what do you think?
It's delicious. I mean, the texture, I've never tasted pollock before, and the texture, it absorbs in your mouth very quickly, doesn't it? It's not like cod, where it's a little bit more meaty, but this, like, absorbs quicker, and I can see how you need all the seasonings to, like, really bring the flavour, but I love it. It's lovely. Delicious.
But it all comes together. Now, what, guys, just wait there a second. Look, my daughter's come down. Come here, Winnie.
Oh, Winnie's
My
there.
daughter's here as chief taster.
Oh, there's our Winnie.
So there you
Hi,
go.
Winnie.
This is Winnie.
I can see
What does Winnie think
hi.
of it?
Hello.
There you
Hello,
go.
darling. Have a taste, Winnie, and see
What
what
do you think, Winnie?
Delicious.
She says, hello, darling.
Oh,
There you go.
nice.
So,
So,
Phil,
no,
what are you
she's my
going to do
fiercest
today
critic.
with
Yeah,
Winnie? Are
she
you
didn't
going to
like
go
it,
out
she
and do...
was-
Are you going to do something nice with Winnie today?
So what we're going to do, we're going to go into Truro, we're going to have a nice bit of lunch, and then we're going to go to one of the retailers that sells really cheap clothes, because she wants some clothes, and that's it.
Good old dad. Good
Have a
old
great
dad.
day. Go for a swim.
Oh.
Bank of Dad.
Thank you, Dad. Thanks,
See you,
Phil.
lads. Bye.
Imagine if Phil Vickery was your dad.
Oh, it'd be so cool. He just
Oh,
cooked
God.
for you all the time. Fantastic.
For details of today's recipe, more delicious ideas, more live chefs, download the free This Morning app.